Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Sports Nonsense and Whiskey, Tuesday, August 30th. Football season's almost here, ladies and gentlemen. Hanging with my boy Panky. How you doing tonight, buddy?
Doing good, buddy. It's been a day, but
It's been a day. All right.
this is a good thing.
All right. Fair. Well, we got a couple little sports stories here and there to touch on. NFL cuts started today, so there's a little bit of news there. And then for fun, we're going to run through our home league fantasy draft we did on Saturday and let Pinky torch some people. And
Myself
then,
included.
yeah, buddy. And then next week, we will focus on, like we said, the schedules and records that we believe are going to play out for this season. So this week's just kind of a fun kind of, I don't want to say throwaway week by any means, but just more nonsense heavy when it comes to the sports conversation. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So I'll start off with a little bit of tennis. The U.S. Open started yesterday. Serena Williams came out, won her first match. So she's on her way to seeing if she can obtain that 23rd title. I got it on over here in the background. Rafa's playing right now, looking real strong. So always
the good one, right?
Say what?
Serena's the good Williams sister?
I mean, she's the better Williams sister. Venus has won some titles herself, but nothing compared to the 22 that Serena has. They did sign up to play doubles at the U.S. Open, so that'll be interesting to see how they do in the doubles. But this is probably Serena's last tournament. She's already said she's evolving, in her words. She won't use the word retirement. She's evolving away from tennis and focusing on some other things in life. So this is probably the last time we get to see Serena play. So hopefully she can go out with a bang. That'd be really cool to see. But yeah, the majors are always fun to watch. Like I said, Rafa is looking pretty strong right now. Djokovic is not here, could not get into the country due to his vaccination status, which I think is a joke, but whatever. So it's kind of Rafa's to lose right now. Hopefully he can stay healthy, unlike Wimbledon, where he was unfortunately had to go out after the quarters after one hell of a match. So got a little bit of tennis going on right now. Always fun to watch. Baseball, a judge by the name of Aaron decided to hit the half-century mark last night, went for his 50th. He is now on pace for 63, which would break Roger Maris' record by 2, which we've talked about. Many baseball purists say is the record still for a single season. And all those baseball purists are on crack for reasons I've mentioned many times in the past. But it would set a new Yankees record if he can get there. So that's always fun to watch and see how he can finish the year. Paul Goldschmidt is on a tear right now for the Cardinals. He's got a chance to be the first person in National League's record books since 1937, I believe is what I saw, to win the Triple Crown. So that would be a huge deal. Verlander's still on pace to snatch another Cy Young and get paid in the offseason. So there's Ohtani's killing it. He's got the most plate appearances and the most innings pitched on his team. That hasn't been done for many years since Babe Ruth. So there's some fun storylines for baseball. Excuse me. Woo! There's some fun storylines going on in baseball to wrap up the season here, and I'll be keeping an eye on a few of these. Just saw a fun stat, actually. Last night, the 29th of August, Serena won a match. Albert Pujols hit a home run. In 2001, on that date, Dante Bichette, Vlad Guerrero Sr., and Craig Biggio all got a hit. Yesterday, August 29, 2002, Serena won a match. Albert Pujols hit a home run. Vlad Guerrero Jr. got a hit. Corin, I believe is his name. Corin Bichette. Or no, I'm sorry, Corin Biggio.
It's Bo Bichette.
And Bo Bichette all got a hit. So the three sons all got a hit. Serena and Pujols still did their thing. So that's kind of crazy. 21 years apart. You can almost put the same stat line out there. Thought that was kind of cool. Sports has a fun way of bringing things full circle. Other fun story I saw, some guy put a four-leg parlay for a top 10 finish in NASCAR on Sunday for, it was $15, I believe he put a bet down.
Yeah, $13. Yeah,
$13 free bet for a four-leg parlay for a top 10 finish in NASCAR. Won him just under $1 million. It was like $990,000, which is absurd. Like, I don't even understand how that works.
I don't think any of that happens, but there was a huge crash that caused like all the shakeups.
That's NASCAR, baby. That's what NASCAR is all about. So that was pretty crazy. Saw that. Would have had no idea to put something like that down for sure. Although I do enjoy watching some NASCAR from time to time.
That would have never crossed my mind.
Yeah, pretty crazy. Pretty crazy. Going into some NFL, Pinky, what do we got for these cuts? Because you're going to be the man to speak to a little bit more on this than I am.
You know, I only paid attention to the Broncos cuts today.
Oh, all right.
It was that kind of day. So,
well, I saw Minnesota decided to release both their backup quarterbacks, Mannion and Mond. So that's an interesting decision.
They traded for Mullen, so that makes sense.
Right, but I mean, you know, interesting that you would release both of them and go trade for someone. They're also trying to trade Madison, so it's making me wonder if Minnesota knows how to construct a roster at this point in time.
Who knows?
The Raiders are trying to wipe clean, scorch earth, cleanse anything that had to do with Mayock and Gruden. They just traded the corner this evening. They're trying to move Leatherwood.
They already cut Leatherwood.
Cut Leatherwood. I'm sorry.
After one season, this would have been his second season.
Yeah. Well, you know, they did not make a lot of great draft picks.
I just can't see having. You already paid that guy so much guaranteed money. You can't tell me he's not worthy of being at least a backup guard. I mean,
apparently he's not.
I guess not.
So they're completely getting rid of that era like it never even happened.
Maybe he pissed in McDaniel's cereal or something, you know.
Who knows, man? That's
just awfully quick to get rid of a guy who I believe he started almost all the games last season.
I mean, he
may not have started well, but he started.
When offensive line depth is kind of a thing going around in the NFL to need and want and have, you'd think that at least keep him through the season a little bit longer and see what happens before they just dump and run.
Right.
Other big news in the NFL. You know, I told you this was going to happen, Pinky. I told you this was going to happen. Jimmy G is staying a 49er.
I like that. I don't hate it. I think it works out for both sides.
Contract, move him to the backup. If Trey Lance gets hurt or just plays like trash, insert Jimmy G for one more year and run with it.
Got another pick coming up here.
Pinky's drafting right now, so that's always fun.
Oh, I picked Irv Smith just because of you, Caleb.
I think my guy's going to ball out. I think he's going to ball out this year.
Well, I do have Darren Waller, so he's not going to play very much. So,
not a bad backup tight end to have.
Yeah, other on the cut side, I didn't see anything else that really got it out there. Huh. Found a new thing. We can show comments.
You can. I cannot.
I can't. Cody was trying to set up his Wi-Fi.
Apparently not going well on the move. Setting up at the new house. Cody, that's a bummer. I would not be happy if I didn't have my Wi-Fi.
Gotta have Wi-Fi.
Gotta have Wi-Fi. That would be an issue for sure.
I will say before we jump too far in, I've not quite finished Barry season 3, but man, such good writing in that show.
I still got to start Barry. It's on my list, and it's coming up to the top, so I'm almost there.
Oh man, yeah,
I've heard very good things about it. I like Bill Hader. Bill Hader's great.
I've lined up, so I'm going to finish Barry. I'm going to move right into Stranger Things and finish season 4 of Stranger Things. By the time that's done, by the time I get all that done during football season, because again, football consumes most of my nights once football season's here. Then it would be House of Dragons should be done, and I'm watching She-Hulk as it goes, so I'll probably continue that. But
I'm gonna binge that one. I'm waiting for that one to just finish up and then binge it.
Got some interesting stuff in there. I know it's been getting just like all the female Marvel stuff. It gets review bombed. That's kind of funny.
I have not heard great things about the first couple episodes, but heard it picks up after that. So
which is fine.
We'll see what happens. I thought Miss Marvel was good. I liked that. I thought that was well done. And maybe it's because I had no idea about the character, so I didn't go in there with any type of expectation or
that one just didn't have
preconceived notions.
It just didn't have a real true villain, and that's the biggest. Like that is the problem with that. Any of the shows when you don't have a true villain, it just doesn't play as well.
I thought there was a true villain, just a different type of villain scenario to give an origin story for.
I didn't think so. The clandestines were not really a real.
I mean, they were trying to end her life to get back home. That's kind of a villain-esque type situation.
Yeah, that was like an episode and a half, though. Like that story,
like an anti-hero. Well, they built up to it. I mean, Spider-Man's origin story didn't really have a true villain per se at first either.
Which one are you talking about?
Not until he became Spider-Man did he have a true villain. So, I liked it. I thought it was well done moving forward.
I think it's enjoyable. I just, to me, again, it just didn't have a villain. A real villain, but that's okay. Kang's coming, so I'll get my fill once Kang finally gets here during Ant-Man.
I mean, everything I've seen has been better than Thor: Love and Thunder. So,
now you're
grading it on those scales. I'm good with it.
Now you're just poking the bear. Now,
hey man, that movie was trash.
I enjoyed it. I don't think it's great by any means, but I did enjoy it.
Oh my gosh, start to finish, it was bad. Oh goodness, there were some good humor parts. I mean, there are some hits throughout, but I mean, if that movie was a baseball batting average, it was like 220 at best. It's like Joey Gallo. That's what it is. It's like Joey Gallo's batting average.
His batting average is very, very poor.
A lot to be desired.
See.
House of Dragons has been good. I won't say great, but it's been good. I can definitely see where they could build up to some really awesome stuff. So we'll see how it plays out. My wife looked at me the other day and she goes, "How does this relate into Game of Thrones?" I said, "Well, they're starting roughly 170 years in the past, so we're a long ways from Game of Thrones." She's like, "Oh yeah, that makes sense." So we'll see how things play out there.
I think Lord of the Rings starts this weekend.
No, 2 weeks.
Is it 2 weeks?
I thought it was 2 weeks.
Soon.
It's like the middle of September, I believe, roughly. And everything I've been reading about that is amazing. So we'll see if it's as good as what I've been reading about. I think the only bad reviews I've heard are from Lord of the Rings purists, and they don't like the fact that there's been some liberties taken. But, like, dude, the guy who wrote it isn't here to help provide content and guidance. So you can take it and run with it and hold true to the heart of what it is and open it up a little bit and make it kind of yours, I'm all for it. So see what happens there.
The back end of this 15-round draft, the back end is nasty, man.
How many teams?
It's just a 10-man, but I am just like I'm just like, I don't want that guy. I don't want that guy either.
Are you struggling?
It's your last pick, man. Just take it.
Marlon Mack got cut today. I did see that.
Marlon Mack did get. I thought that was a surprise, personally.
That's a little bit of a surprise. I didn't hear if they're going to try to sign him back or.
I'm not a big. I know Damian Pierce has been getting a lot of love this preseason, but based on what he did at Florida and kind of what he is as a runner, I don't see him being all that in the NFL.
I don't know, man. I saw him his first preseason game. He just kind of reminded me of David Johnson when David Johnson came in.
No way. He's like half the size of David Johnson.
Not the size, but the way he moved and
There's a lot of guys who move like that at his size, and what happens to them?
We'll see.
They can't hold a full NFL workload, and they become third down backs at best.
I just need him to get the ball a couple times a game. I'll be good.
And you know he's not going to be the red zone guy. That's going to be Burkhead.
I mean, they have to get into the red zone first.
I think Houston's offense will surprise some people a little bit. Brandon Cooks is solid. I think Nico Collins is going to be pretty legit. Davis Mills, I've said before, I think he's legit. So I think they could surprise some people a little bit.
We shall see. I don't know about it. I'm ready for it. I'm ready for us to start getting into some football, fantasy, betting. I'm jonesing, man. This week with nothing is kind of rough, man.
Week and 2 days, buddy.
Yeah, not till next Thursday, but I got another big fantasy draft on Saturday. A little bit different than this draft we just did because it's a super flex with you can only have 2 QBs total. Like that's it. So there's some strategy behind that. Whether you grab 2 early, grab 1, wait till later, are you rolling the dice with, Tua or Tannehill or somebody because you waited too long? Like that's a real possibility.
Yeah, good luck with that.
Yeah, and I'm 11th too, which it just sucks because I'm at that spot where the quarterbacks are at the point where I might be better off taking Taylor or McCaffrey over
Absolutely
one of the quarterbacks.
You are.
So
absolutely you are.
And it is a quarterback heavy. Quarterbacks can score 50 to 70 points in this pretty easily. So there is it's a QB premium as well.
I'd probably take the risk and wait for them on rounds 3-4 wrap.
That's
grab 2 right there.
Looking at Lance, Cousins, Tua,
Derek Carr. Should it even be wise to look at possibly grabbing, Trubisky and back in late grabbing Pickens? I mean, not Pickens, Pickett, just in case. But Trubisky's looked pretty good in the preseason.
Nope, man, I ain't touching nothing of that. I'm not touching any guy that could be replaced in the middle of a season.
Why not? If you can grab him late and you can stack up on the skill positions and then get Kenny Pickett's late too, why wouldn't you do that?
Too much possibility of somebody outbidding me to get Pickett if Trubisky gets benched for Pickett. So
no, you draft Pickett. You draft Pickett late and you just stash him on your bench.
You have to play 2 QBs every week, man.
Right. So you grab Trubisky as hopefully your QB2.
So you can't. You can only have 2 QBs total.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
So you can't play any of those games.
I'd still probably risk it. Or Mariota. He's looked really good in the preseason too.
He's going to get replaced by Ritter too. It's just a matter of when.
No, he's not. Ritter didn't look very good.
when they're 0-6 because their team sucks in general, they're gonna play the rookie, man. It just doesn't matter. They're not
I
gonna
don't
win
think they
enough
will.
games.
Coach is trying to keep his job.
He just got his job.
What's that mean in the NFL anymore?
Arthur Blank's not really quick to fire people, so I don't see.
I
if
load up
they're-
on them skill positions, baby, at that pick.
He knows that those guys are in for a rebuild, or have been in a rebuild. He's not going to fire the coach right away. But
He
I don't
also
think they're going
knows
to be good
that
enough to
his-
win that many games.
That if he's going to be that bad, you may as well keep letting Mariota play and go get another quarterback in the draft next year.
If you're going to lose the games, you might as well get your rookie quarterback some experience.
Nah,
If you
you
like
just
him.
dump him and run. Get another one next year.
No. You never play around in a 2 QB cap with guys who can be replaced.
I do. I most definitely do.
Yeah, then you're playing it wrong. Not in a QB
No.
premium.
Hell
Because
yeah,
they don't
you
play.
do.
They don't play well enough to score you enough points in a QB premium league.
Yeah, they
to
do.
make it worth
Both
it.
of them will.
Nah,
Yep, you watch. You
not
watch.
happening, my man.
It's going to happen. You will see.
Hannah agrees with me. So no.
Like I'm going to listen to
Trash.
Hannah's advice on drafting after the way she just rolled out this weekend.
My team's amazing.
When you realize after the draft that you might have made a mistake at running back, that's a problem.
Mistakes were made.
I'm not a mistake.
Well, let's talk about some mistakes then, since there's just not much going on this week.
I'm good. Roll into it. Let's
Let's
see
let's
what
share
we
the
got.
screen and let's talk about it a little bit. Obviously, we did the mock for this last week.
Yeah, I didn't
And,
realize that that's what this mock was. I thought it was just a random mock, so that's why I took 5th instead of 9th. But not like it matters. You guys sniped me left and right all draft.
They did.
That was not
Jeez.
on purpose.
Yes.
It was on purpose. You and Zach looked at each other and nodded and smiled multiple times. And Zach even flat out said, I'm taking this guy just to piss off Caleb. Like, it definitely was on purpose.
I took the guy because I liked him at that spot, not to piss you off.
That's a lie. That's
But
a lie. You're not even
if
high
it
on the guy.
does-
You said multiple
if it
times
does
he's not
piss
even
you
going to
off,
do well this year.
It's good.
God. Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
I got to make this bigger so I can see it. There
Had
we
to
go.
change my strategy on the fly real quick.
You did. And you
real
did-
quick.
I think you pulled almost a Blea. Like,
Not by choice. That, SP makes this on purpose and then fails miserably at it. I feel like I changed it on the fly and came out really well.
I mean, you're banking on Edmonds and Stevenson having a good year, which they could, but you're really banking on those two guys.
Stevenson averaged roughly 12 a game last year. So if I can get that from him again this year, which shouldn't be a problem.
You again with the New England Patriots and what they're doing right now, I just don't know. So
Edmonds is Stevenson by all accounts is going to be the pass catching back as well now. So it's another plus. You're super low on Edmonds and I'm super high. So
I'm not low on Edmonds, but I wouldn't want him as my RB2. That's all I'm saying.
I mean,
He's a flex guy to me. He's a great flex guy.
If I can get 12 out of him, I'm very happy with it.
If your top 3 wide receivers you're playing, or 4, because you could play 4 wide receivers in this league the way it's set up, you're probably fine. Because your top 4 wide receivers should score enough points to give you a boost from whatever your running back score.
I'm sitting 4. Let's go through the draft. We'll get to me.
I'll let you lead. You lead it, and we'll go.
All right. Well, starting with the first pick overall here, Duran. I feel like given his situation, I'm not a big Fournette guy. I just don't see him doing great this year, especially with their offensive line issues that are happening. Obviously you can't go wrong with Taylor, so that's a great purse pick.
I think he's got opportunity. Brady likes to throw him the football, so there is some opportunity for him to get some catches. And since their O-line sucks, he might be throwing to the running back pretty quick. So
Possible.
there's some opportunity there. I don't mind Fournette when you already have Taylor.
With his injury history, I feel like given the nature of the team this year, it could backfire quickly on him. But
he is known to quit on a team too. So
no doubt.
There you have some unfortunate you're taking some risk.
Can't be mad with Patty. Might have been a little early given what was still on the board, but you can't be mad at it.
I think it's like you can't be mad at it, but it's not a QB premium. I mean, it's QB 6 touchdowns or 6-point touchdowns, so you get that, but it's not like there's not an overall premium for quarterbacks. So, Mahomes and Kyler Murray and Jalen Hurts, who went later, could score just as many points as Mahomes, and you would have built up your roster more.
I like Pittman. I think Pittman can have a real big year.
Pittman's good. Bless you. Kittle's good for the 6 games he plays.
Yeah, that's the kicker there. If he's healthy for the full season, that's probably tight end 1. But I can't remember the last time he played a full season.
Well, he's very physical. His run after catch is very physical, and he will block. And when you do all those things, you can lead it to more injuries based on his physical play.
I think Thielen is 3rd, maybe 4th option this year. That could be a tricky situation there. Oh. I don't think Pollard is going to be as big a scorer as people like to think he is. Unless he becomes a wide receiver, then that could pay out for him a little bit. Devontae Smith could have a huge year. Just don't know.
I think he's a good, wide receiver 3. Got no problem with that there.
Melvin Gordon, I think, was a wasted pick there, personally.
I think they're going to give the ball to Gordon more than you think, but I think they might give it to him more in the passing game.
We will see. There's, it's very questionable. Melvin could be really good at that position, or he could be really bad.
I think Melvin Gordon is a guy that you can put in your flex, and he could get you 10 points at least a week, I think.
I like Carr that late. That's a great pick, I feel like. MVS.
If you look at that, he could have drafted another top player and then drafted Carr, and he'd have been golden. We were some of the guys that are in my draft on Saturday were asking me about this because Sam's in both leagues, and so they were asking him and me, and Sam was commenting that Durant had a really good team, and I'm looking and I'm just like, I don't think it is.
No, I don't see it being a really good team. That's just me. Not a lot of guys that I'm very high on.
So I don't know where I would rank it yet, but it's not, to me, it's not top 7 right now.
MBS, Gage, those are low floor, mid ceiling.
Come here. You want to be a part? Come here.
Higbee, not a bad backup tight end. Ingram probably isn't getting a lot of touches, and McCole Hardman could be hit or miss there.
See, now you're getting too distracted.
For projection purposes, Duran is sitting. Let's look here.
Yeah, I haven't really agreed with Sleeper's projections over the last few years.
The projections are a little crazy because he's projected with the second highest point total week 1. So while we may not see very many points there, Sleeper sure as heck does.
Now again, he could be good for the first couple weeks and then flame out. We had a team last year go 3-0 and then barely won another game. And then we had one team that went. We went.
That was me. That was a low blow.
Another player had was like 0-4 and ended up making the playoffs. So you just don't know how it's going to turn. But I'm not overly confident with Duran. What do you think about Zach here? Since he stole some of your guys.
So, Zach. I don't like Akers as his second running back there.
There's a risk there for sure.
Don't like Akers there at all. A lot of people think he's going to be an RB1, and I see him splitting carries with Henderson, and they don't run the ball a whole lot consistently anyways. Super high on ETN. We all know how I feel about ETN. Zach literally looked at everybody in the room and said, I'm about to piss Caleb off on purpose with this pick. So it makes me believe he didn't even really want ETN there. He just took him for shits and giggles. But I think that's going to be a huge pick there. Not a big fan of Deontay Johnson. But at that position, I think that was a solid pick there. Especially with all the top wide receivers kind of going before that. He could have had Pittman or Johnson. He went with Johnson. I don't think that's bad. It's a PPR machine. Lamar Jackson, it's hard to hate Lamar Jackson in the fifth.
It's kind of weird that he took Johnson over Pittman because he is a Pittman guy.
He's a big Pittman guy. So
but,
that was a little odd.
I mean, Johnson's had 2 straight years of just being a PPR machine.
Well, and I think he's going to do really well with Trubisky. So I don't hate that pick there. I don't like the Hawkinson pick. I think there are better tight ends available than Hawkinson.
I mean, Stafford didn't use a tight end much, and Goff doesn't use a tight end much. So I think he's talented.
We'll see. I'm not a big Hawkinson fan there. What? I think Cook. He might have reached a little bit on Cook. He's going to have to hope he gets a lot of production in the pass game to start the season, which he could. But they're not known to throw to the running backs a whole lot up there in Buffalo, so that would be a bit of a stretch. I love Elijah Moore there. Another guy
as a wide receiver too, though. I don't know.
A little questionable.
His wide receivers is what's the big risk for Zach here.
Yeah, I don't like Michael Thomas at all. I think that is not a good pick. Sky Moore is a very boom or bust.
In the 9th round, I don't hate it.
I think Michael Thomas could have gone undrafted, and I wouldn't have faulted anybody for it.
I can't fault the guy for taking a guy who has the potential in round 9. Because you want to.
He's going to be the 4th option on that team.
No.
Yeah.
Crab Daddy's going to find him.
Olave and Landry are going to get more touches than him at the wide receiver position, and Kamara is going to catch more balls as well. He's a 4th option.
We'll see. Yeah, I mean, Sky Moore, Jacoby Myers, Michael Gallup.
Jacoby Myers could be a PPR machine this year, so that might work out for him that late. I think Algier, that could be a steal that late. He got a lot of red zone work. Sounds like he's going to be kind of the red zone beast, so that could work out really well for him.
That's a tough backfield with Algier, Cordell Patterson, and they have another guy too. I can't remember his name.
I think Algier's the RB1 by middle of the season.
Which
I really do.
He might, again, hopefully he doesn't have to use him early on because he's already got.
He's got Etienne and McCaffrey, so he'll be fine. Deshaun Watson is an interesting pick. He could have gone undrafted, and I wouldn't have been surprised about that at all. Just to sit him on your bench for 11 weeks.
Well, he won't even play because he's going to have to pick up another quarterback to play that week because Lamar's week 10. Watson doesn't get back till like week 12 or 13.
I know. Interesting decision there. And then getting Hurst that late, Joe Burrow kind of uses a tight end, so maybe. But as a flyer with your last pick, not terrible.
Burrow does like the tight end, so yeah, he's probably in the top 7, I think.
I won't even look at projections anymore because he's not. Not looking too great. Moving on to SP here. Derrick Henry with the first pick. That was a solid pick there. I don't hate that.
I love that he's starting to change his stripes. That
A little
SP.
bit. CeeDee Lamb and Tyreek Hill, top 2 receivers there. That's solid. Antonio Gibson might have been a bit of a stretch there.
And that was before Brian Robinson got shot.
Yeah, it was.
His value went up afterwards.
Little questionable there. And I'm a big Antonio Gibson fan. I think Washington is stupid for not using him more, but we'll see how that plays out for him this year. Hopefully it works out well. Elijah Mitchell is going to be the RB1 in a run-heavy offense, so that's not bad there at all.
Hopefully, I think he missed 2 games last season. Just hopefully he stays healthy. When he stays healthy, that guy was.
If he only misses 2 games this year, that's not bad. You can definitely work that. Juju there, I'm not a fan of, but could be a PPR machine with Patty.
I don't mind Juju there. I mean, Hopkins or Gabe Davis, maybe I would take over Juju.
I'd take Darnell Mooney over Juju.
Yeah, see, I got no faith in the Bears' offense, so I want no part of that. I like
Fields looked real good this preseason.
Not the games I watched, he didn't.
Then you
His
didn't
last
watch the
game he
games,
did.
Stinky.
The other 2 before that, he looked like shit.
No, okay. You were not watching then.
I was definitely watching.
You weren't, because his numbers definitely say different than what you just said.
No, his first 2 games were ugly. They were not good.
No, they were
His
not.
last game, he was played well. I admit that. His first 2, he did not. The third one is what matters. That's where they played more, and that's what
Freiermuth at the tight end. That's a solid pick. That's a really good pick there. What do you mean?
I don't know what Trubisky's going to do with Freiermuth. I don't.
After watching preseason, I don't understand why you're still down on Trubisky.
Again, can he win the Steelers games and get them to the playoffs? I think Trubisky can. I just don't think he's going to be a great fantasy player. I just don't. So then the players around him, I'm not really high on.
Ugh. He's got tons of weapons around him, and he looked really good in the preseason. Like, I don't understand why you're still down on him. Freiermuth is going to go for 5 to 6 catches a game and 50 to 60
Caleb,
yards a
you've
game.
said a lot. You've said one thing multiple times already. He's looked really good in the preseason. And sometimes that means 0. Looking good in the preseason sometimes doesn't.
Fully agree with that.
Shit.
Preseason doesn't really mean anything, but I would rather a guy look really good in the preseason than look really bad.
You usually don't see them turn it around when they look really bad, but
I mean, he was accurate with his balls, and he was decisive with his balls. Those are 2 things I'm looking for a quarterback, regardless of what the defense is doing.
See, I like Zach Ertz over Freiermuth. So he still got him 2 rounds later. I like Kyler Murray found Zach Ertz a lot after.
I think they're equal. So I wouldn't disagree or hate on that. I would rather have Ertz or Freiermuth over Schultz, who went later. I think Goddard's right there with them as well. So either of those 3 I would have been totally cool with. Kadarius Toney, I think, can have a really big year. He showed some really nice flashes last year as a rookie. So if he can stay healthy, he could have a big year. Rashid White is interesting because Fournette's got an injury history, and Rashid White would be next man up. So, as an RB4 there, that's not a bad snag. Tua as a second RB, Trubisky as a third RB. I mean, he's got plenty of RB, QB. He's got plenty of QB options with Dak there. And then Julio and Landry, kind of guys at the back end of their career. If you need them for a week, maybe.
I think Julio could be he could be sneaky based on Tom Brady just throwing him the ball on a regular basis. He hasn't had a Tom Brady. Matt Ryan's good, but he hasn't had a Tom Brady throwing in the ball.
But does he stay relevant once Godwin gets back up to speed and Mike Evans is there? I mean, that's kind of the kicker.
Maybe you cover those 2 guys and you're like, Julio ain't going to do anything. Possibly. Maybe. So that deep, no issues with that. Those guys are like guys that if you had to throw them in a pinch, I don't think you feel too bad about it.
Again, back end of the draft, so it's not terrible.
Now, I don't know why you draft 3 quarterbacks, but
Yeah, in a 1 QB league, I always like to have two quarterbacks. Not a big fan of streaming in these if you can grab two decent ones. So, but I wouldn't go three.
Like Dak and Tua, that's perfect. I don't
Now
think
Zach
they
should have
have
gone three. Zach should have gone three just for the simple fact that he took Watson.
You're like
but
dumping Watson.
yeah, not sure what
Dumping a
SP
different
was
player
thinking
to
there.
pick up a quarterback when you need week 10.
Not sure what SP was thinking there.
So he does like Trubisky. I think you've talked him into Tua, which is good. You've talked me into Tua. I think. I mean, not that Tua is overly great, but he really had. There's just no reason for him not to succeed, and there's no reason he can't be a fantasy viable quarterback either.
For sure.
So I actually, so far, I think SP's team's actually going to be pretty good overall. And I play him week 1 too, of course. So.
Well, when we get to you, we'll compare those two and see who we think is going to come out on
I've
top
got
there.
some, I need some more things to break my way, in my opinion.
We'll see.
But
We'll see. You're on the back end there, so we'll get there. Sunny here out of market.
Sonny's going to struggle hard.
Made some questionable decisions early and continued late.
So here's one of those things of picking a guy early because you don't want your friend to get him. And she knew that Hannah would like Josh Allen. Although I don't see Josh Allen getting all the way back to her at 12. But she took Josh Allen at 2, or not 2, but in the second round. I don't have a huge issue with.
Do you think Duran still takes Patty Mahomes there, where he did first pick in the third round? If Sonny hadn't taken Josh Allen in the second,
someone takes Josh Allen. It's possible he would have taken Duran would have taken Josh Allen if he's willing to take Patty at the 3-1. He could have taken Josh.
But did he do that just because Josh Allen had already gone off the board? That's the question.
Could have been the other. Yeah, you just don't know. Connor, fine. Having Connor as your RB1, that's kind of tough.
Scary for sure.
I mean, last year he put up RB1 numbers. He was very touchdown dependent, but he did put up RB1.
Oh yeah, last year was great for him, but does he stay on the field the whole season this year? That's a big question mark.
I think he still missed 2 or 3 games last year.
Yeah.
No, that's a very tough one to have as your RB1. Kyle Pitts, again. Kyle Pitts, fantastic player, most likely. Probably tight end 1 if he was in a really good offense. That offense is not going to be great. He's going to put up okay numbers, but not anywhere near Andrews, Waller. I even think Schultz might put up better numbers than Pitts will. But
get down.
Mm-hmm.
Jeez Louise. Go on. Got a little buddy here. He's getting excited. Pitts is he showed some crazy potential in the preseason there with Mariota, but I'm not a huge believer in him being the third tight end off the board there.
Yeah, I know he was there in the rankings, and that's probably what she looked at. But again, I don't want a huge amount of fantasy players from bad offenses. And I think there'll be a bad offense. Even if Mariota plays well, it's still not going to be overly productive. AJ Dillon as a flex play is great. As your RB2, you're hurting. You're struggling.
For sure.
You are praying for an Aaron Jones injury. Not a card.
This is a 0 running back strategy gone awry.
Gone wrong.
Gone awry. Questionable for sure.
Cooper, for 11 weeks, he's in a bad offense. I don't think you can really trust him to have value. Again, I think Mooney will be fine, but I just don't see that's not going to be great.
He went over 1,000 yards last year in that trash of an offense. He can't get worse.
Maybe teams realize to double him and show him that respect. They don't have Allen Robinson to worry about anymore.
Did that last year.
Oh.
That's what I'm saying. Like, he was the only weapon last year, and he still got off. So I think he's only going to improve. And with Cole Kmet being there, looking really good, and they're going to be using him more as well, I think Mooney's going to have a real nice year.
I got a bet for everybody right now. Chicago Bears, 49ers. Go ahead and bet the 49ers getting like 5+ sacks. I'm sure there's pretty good odds on it.
Yeah, I mean
that's
a no-brainer. That's not anything surprising.
Just came to my mind real quick that they're going to get slaughtered week 1.
Now, Rashad Penny's interesting here. To snag him that late, if he can stay healthy, he could have a low-end RB1 type year.
He helped a lot of people put that stamp on a fantasy championship last year.
No doubt.
I won a dynasty league, and Jared won a league. He won the league that I'm drafting on Saturday, and both of us had Penny in our lineup, and he scored over 35 points. He averaged over 30 the last 3 weeks of the season.
Yeah, so he's a real interesting one. I like Olave here a lot. I think he has a great season. I think he's their wide receiver 1. And I think he's going to have a really good year as a rookie, as long as Jameis is the quarterback all season.
Like I'm looking down this list, and I'm like, Hunter Henry, not awful. Tyler Boyd's a steady Betty.
I don't like Hunter Henry at all. I think the Patriots are going to be trash for the most part with the passing game.
I think they will.
He's going to have to stay in and block a lot. And they're not going to get as many red zone chances that they had last year. So, and he was very red zone dependent last year.
He was. He had 6 to 8 touchdowns, something like that. Last season.
I like Jameis Winston as a backup QB. I think Deontay Foreman was a wasted pick. Unless you have Christian McCaffrey, I don't like that really. But again, this late, what are you really going to do? And Mostert,
after they cut Sony Michel, Mostert's backing up Edmonds. That's a 1-2 punch. Mostert has the speed. He knows the offense.
He's going to get hurt week 2 in practice.
He's probably going to pull a quad week 2 easy. Yeah, for sure.
So, again, last pick of the draft, it's not a terrible.
If not, I still think it's okay. I think anybody in the 15th round, until we get to Mark's 15th round pick. But he hates tight ends, obviously, from the look of his squad. So, but we'll get to him. Andy, I looked at Andy. His starting squad is pretty damn good. Dalvin Cook, Samuel,
terrible.
Priest. I like his starting squad. I think Cook, there's arguments Cook could finish in the top 5. Samuel could finish in the top 5. He's got Darren Waller who could finish in the top 5.
Problem is Godwin's not going to be much until October at the earliest, probably, as he ramps back up. Hopkins is suspended the first 6 games of the season.
He won't get Hopkins back right away. He did draft Brian Robinson.
That's going to hurt now, unfortunately. Treylon Burks is still trying to get healthy. So, he's got to pray that he can go 500 until some of these guys come back.
He's going to have to just win a couple games until he gets his guys. Once he gets his guys, though, he could be dangerous. But
the problem is he might be out of contention by the time those guys come back. That's a big risk there.
But that's Andy. This is pretty much how he drafts every year. So
I don't know. He went a lot more vets this year than normal.
He did.
He usually treats redrafts like a dynasty. So
he's got Breece Hall, which is a decent running back, or should be. So
Gesicki, hard to say. Williams in Arizona is not going to even be the RB2 by all accounts. Benjamin is. So that's questionable. Dotson has had a pretty good preseason and camp by all accounts, so that could be a sneaky pick. Again, Jamison Williams, you could have just let him go undrafted. He's not going to be ready to go until November by all accounts.
I think he already put Williams on his IR.
He did, and when he went and grabbed Wendell Robinson, so that's another rookie sneaky grab. And then Chuba and Deontay have not done well in camp and preseason by all accounts. So definitely Panthers are hoping CMC stays healthy. So, yeah, Andy is banking on the second half of the season and hoping he's in contention by the time that happens. But if he is, he's got a chance.
He does. I like Mark's team. I really do. I don't like anything after Trey Lance on this, but I really like his first half here with Najee, Aaron Jones, Montgomery. I don't like
CEH. I think that was a wasted pick there, personally. I would have rather had Dylan, Mitchell, Miles Sanders.
Oh, Mitchell for sure. I'd have taken Mitchell in a heartbeat over CEH. I'd take Damian Harris over
Kittle, Pitts, Deontay Johnson, Michael Pittman, Mike Williams, Jerry Jeudy, Allen Robinson, Marquise Brown, Metcalf, Kenneth Walker, Brown.
He did take Metcalf, so he's good.
I'm just saying there's a lot of guys going down the list that I would have grabbed before CEH, but that's just me. I think CEH is a huge bust.
His top two wide receivers are good wide receivers. I don't know how much production. I don't know if they're going to get top 10 fantasy production based on their quarterbacks.
Geno did throw to Metcalf quite a bit. So the fact that Geno was named the starter, I think, bodes well for Metcalf for the year.
I don't know if anybody in Seattle's – I don't know.
I mean, Metcalf in the fifth round? Sixth round. That's not bad.
Sixth round. Which, again, he's only in the sixth round because Russell Wilson's not there anymore. If Russell Wilson was still there, he'd have been higher.
Absolutely. Kyler Murray that late, that's solid if he can play all year and doesn't drop off after Call of Duty comes out. Ayuk will be a bit of a question mark. That's a big ceiling, medium floor.
I like Ayuk there. I like him over Drake London.
Agreed.
Agreed. We haven't seen much from Drake London. He got hurt in his first preseason game. Again, I just don't think that offense is going to be consistent enough. When Mariota was at his best, he was still not throwing much more over 200 yards. So I just don't see that being.
Quit with the Mariota bashing, dude.
That's completely true. Mariota,
because he played for a trash offensive coordinator.
Offensive
coordinator.
You know who the coordinator that he's with right now was his coordinator?
No, it was his QB coach.
It was QB coach, then coordinator his last year before he lost his job.
And he got hurt the year he started off really well and then got hurt and lost his job.
Mariota won football games. He would throw for about 200 yards, and they'd run the football. There's nothing wrong with that. Again, just not going to make him fantasy relevant.
Again, based on what he did in preseason, it shows that he's a lot better than a 200-yard guy. He just wasn't given the opportunity.
Well, maybe it'll be better because they'll be down by so much, so he'll get garbage stuff.
You're out of your mind.
Empty stats for that guy.
You are out of your mind. He's going to have empty stats because their team isn't very good, but he is a good quarterback.
Correct. They're going to be behind so much, they're going to get a lot of empty stats, which, again, for fantasy is perfect.
He would have gotten good. I'm not. You're just wrong. Sorry, buddy. You're just wrong about Marcus Mariota.
I'm not.
You're judging him based on that's like judging Trubisky based off Nagy, which you do too, which is mind-boggling.
Again, neither one of those guys are finished. Trubisky and Mariota will not finish the season as quarterbacks for their team. So that's what's going to happen.
I think you're wrong.
I'm going to keep the receipts on that, Caleb, and I'm going to remind you when I'm right.
They're both going to play too well to bench them.
They're going to play well and still lose games.
Trubisky probably will not be with Pittsburgh next year, if I had to guess. But they're going to play well, and Pittsburgh's going to be looking at a playoff run, and they're not putting in Kenny Pickett.
We'll see.
Mariota, I could possibly see if Ritter had looked better, but he looked not good. And Mariota looked good. And so I see Mariota continuing.
So
the other thing, they got him so cheap, they could keep playing both of them in all honesty and not have to worry about it.
It's true. But I think Pickett and Ritter will play games this season.
Back to Mark's team. Spiller, he's not even going to be the RB2, it sounds like. Christian Watson's a late grab that could pay off. Pacheco's a late grab that could pay off. Evan Ingram is a sneaky pick. If he stays healthy all season, which he is definitely not known to do.
He's never stayed healthy.
But talent-wise, if he can find a way to stay healthy, that could be a steal that late. And then Daniel Bellinger is just a homer pick because he's not going to be fantasy relevant this year.
Not many Giants will be. Oh. All right.
I think you're wrong about that. Again, Dabo is the truth. So they're going to be better on offense than I think you're giving them credit for. Fantasy-wise. Real life-wise might be a slightly different story, but fantasy-wise, I think Dabo will get a lot out of what's there. Sam's team.
Sam's team is pretty good. Eckler, Kamara, Andrews, DJ Moore, Brandon Cooks. Those are all solid.
Jalen Hurts, Gabe Davis. Keep going.
Yeah, Hurts and Gabe Davis. Singletary finished the season really well last year. So he's going to get the starting run at the beginning if he's going to have to play well to keep his job. Robinson's got to come back healthy. Henderson is going to need Akers to get hurt. Jamal Williams, DeAndre Swift to get hurt.
Robinson needs Etienne to get hurt. All three of those are stashed.
I think Robinson and Etienne are going to get run if Robinson's healthy.
Robinson will get real life run as an NFL running back. He's not going to get fantasy run.
We'll see. He's still
too talented to take off the field.
We'll see. Again, no idea. Doug Peterson likes to run the ball. He likes to use a lot of running backs. So I still think he can have some fantasy relevance. 10th round, that's perfect. You don't want to draft him early. Dubs, that's a sneaky pick of, just Aaron Rodgers has to throw to somebody.
It's questionable. It's definitely a what-if kind of shot there, so we'll see what happens there.
And then,
I think Everett's a sneaky pick that late. There's been a lot of talk coming out of the LA Chargers camp that they're using him all over the field. So that could be a sneaky flex play every so often if he hits on the right weeks. And then Baker as a QB2, last pick of the draft, not bad.
From what we've reviewed so far, Sam's got the best team of the teams that we've reviewed so far, top to bottom.
I would say Sam and I like Sam and Mark's right now, compared to everything else we've gone through.
See, I would take Sam's got higher end running backs, tight end, and the wide receivers are probably pretty comparable overall. But I think Sam's is top to bottom a little bit better team overall. But they're
Possibly.
pretty close. They're pretty close.
Let's look at Junior here. Let's see what Junior did.
Junior.
Those first four picks are pretty solid. I would have taken Kamara over Chubb. Just for the simple fact that, look, we all know how I feel about Chubb. I think he's the best running back in the league.
You can't tell a guy who loves the Browns not to take Chubb there.
It's just I'm probably a bigger fan of Chubb than even Junior is. But being realistic in a situation where they limit him to roughly 16 to 19 touches a game, and he's going to be playing on an offense that's going to be playing from behind for the first 11 weeks, it's tough to justify that pick there when Kamara is still on the board.
Could be.
That's the kicker. But Chubb's still going to be a top 10 running back.
Kamara was rated over Mixon, Swift, Javonte, Barkley, and Chubb.
He was not rated over Barkley, actually.
In the ratings,
Kamara
was above Barkley.
He was just below him, actually. I was debating between the two, and I decided to go with Barkley.
I have a draft coming up. It'll show me exactly where he's at.
I do believe. I almost went Kamara Barkley. I almost took Kamara and Barkley with my first two picks and decided against it because Chase was sitting there, which we'll get to in a second. But
Kamara is above Barkley.
By how much?
31. Barkley's 32. Kamara's 31.
Oh, okay. So he's one above. My bad. I thought it was the other way around, actually. I thought Barkley was 31, Kamara was 32. Kamara's been moving up consistently, though, the closer we get to the season because everybody's starting to realize he's not going to get suspended.
I don't know, man. He burned me last year, so
he could have been 32 on Saturday because he's gone from like 40-something up to where he is now. So
without a suspension, he's probably good, but he burned me last year in the second half of the season when I really needed him. And
you mean because they didn't have a quarterback? It wasn't his fault.
That was part of it, but he got hurt a little bit.
That was all of it. They were playing Taysom Hill and Simeon.
Hey, man, I just don't want any part of it this year myself. That's why I didn't take him. He could still be pretty awesome. Kamara's
You're acting like it was Kamara's fault when it was nothing to do with him.
Hey. Plus, I'm not really into guys that curb stomp guys, you know?
Well, I mean, I'm not gonna hate you there. I mean, there's no argument there. We all think. I mean, I've said before he should be suspended for a year minimum, based on everything I've read. So, yeah, can't be mad at that.
Junior is definitely hoping Miles Sanders is healthy, which
I think Sanders is going to get more run than they've let on this season. He's going to have more than 0 touchdowns. That's for damn sure.
When the holes are there, the guy's good, but.
I mean, 0 touchdowns last season is just a fluke. There's no way he's going to have 0 touchdowns again.
Dalton Schultz.
You're just going to skip over Kenneth Walker? You're just not even going to talk about that?
I mean, Kenneth Walker's hurt right now. He's a second half guy. He's probably not going to give you a lot in the first half, but by week 6, 7, 8.
The kicker with Kenneth Walker is if Penny has a fully healthy season, Kenneth Walker might not get a lot of touches at all this year.
He might. I mean, they drafted him pretty high. He might get some run,
right? But you don't take out Penny if he's on a streak like he was to end last season. You know what I mean? So,
yeah. I mean, the Seahawks though, the last 4 years, even when Carson was healthy, they would still rotate in other backs in. So I still think Walker
rotate in, but Carson was still the main guy. You know what I mean? Like to take him that early where he did might have been a reach, is what I'm saying. But then again, if Penny gets hurt like he did the previous 3 years, then it's a steal at that point.
When you look at almost all of these rosters, that third, fourth running back is almost the guy of like he's sharing a backfield with someone else and he needs someone else to get hurt. So, you know, we're all kind of hoping and praying in that case.
Schultz is a PPR machine with Dak, so that's not terrible.
Yeah, Dak. I think Dak's going to find Schultz a lot with, like I said, Cooper and Wilson gone. And Lamb's going to open up. He's going to get double teamed a lot. Schultz will be sitting there wide open, so he should benefit.
Agreed. Brady that late. That's not a bad pick.
I mean, Brady threw 40-some touchdowns last year, 45, I think, so. That's
what I like that Junior did here is he backed up Miles Sanders with Gainwell. So one way or the other, he's going to have the hot hand running back to play in Philadelphia.
He will.
I think George Pickens could be a sneaky pick. I think he could end up the wide receiver 2, maybe even 1 in Pittsburgh. He's got that kind of talent. So that's a sneaky pick that late. The Njoku pick is a homer pick. That's a pick only a Browns fan would make.
Probably. I mean, but if you look at it that deep, I mean, you lump all those guys together. It's just like, who's your flavor? His flavor was Njoku, right?
Kenny Golladay may finally show that he wasn't a fluke in Detroit. He may prove that he was.
They couldn't cut him, so
not with the money.
The
yeah, not with the money they're paying.
They literally said they tried to trade him, and they cannot cut him, so he's on the team.
I think Mac Jones is going to have a bad year, so I'm not a fan of having Mac Jones.
Yeah, Mac Jones is my second quarterback. Makes me.
I think he will. I think he will regress this year for sure. And I like the DJ Shark pick with his last pick in the draft. I think that's a sneaky good pick.
I know he hurt a lot of people's teams last year, but he didn't get drafted. But Ryan Tannehill is better than Mac Jones.
I would rather have Ryan Tannehill as my second quarterback for sure.
So,
and then I like the DJ Shark move. I think he's going to have a sneaky, solid year that you can play at the flex.
So I do think Junior's team is probably better than his teams have been in the past.
Agreed.
I think it looks like a competitive team. He really needs – I mean, he's got 3 solid wide receivers. He's going to need one of his third running backs to show up. He's going to need Kenneth Walker to get some play.
Yeah, because right now he's really only got 2, whether it's Sanders or Gainwell and then Chubb. So, little sketch, but see what happens.
And then you're up, my man.
So
you pivoted hard,
real hard, because I'm known for being running back heavy, and that did not work out. ETN should have wrapped back around to me. I was very confident that he was going to. Zach reached real heavy, real hard. Started the 3rd round there to grab him. So pivoted there. You snatched Dobbins.
That was just a good spot for Dobbins, man. It was Dobbins or Mitchell.
You reached real hard on Dobbins.
I had to take him, man. I didn't want any part of Zeke. I didn't want Gibson. I didn't want Dillon. I didn't want CEH. Mitchell would have been the only guy I would have drafted other than Dobbins. So
yeah, I pivoted. Chase was sitting there at 9. I don't know if I've ever taken a wide receiver in the first round, to be perfectly honest with you.
I had 9 in the fantasy draft tonight. I took Chase because everybody else was gone.
But him sitting there, I decided I'd run with it. Like I said, I was debating between Barkley and Kamara. I think Barkley's going to have a big bounce back year, and he catches the ball a lot. And he's going to again.
A lot of risk with that. Hopefully, you're rewarded.
I think last year's injury was just a weird fluke, so I'm not worried about the injuries.
Almost all of his injuries have been flukes.
Yeah, so it's not something that he ever dealt with in college.
It's not like he's constantly got like a quad pull or something weird. It's just like his ankle gets rolled on, or it's just always weird stuff.
So I'm going with the dabble, good juju coming in as the head coach, continuing for the players rather than all the nastiness that was Judge and everything else.
Your team needs Barkley.
If Barkley gets hurt, I'm screwed. That's a fact. If Barkley gets hurt, I'm screwed.
If Barkley gets hurt, you're definitely calling people like, hey, pick a wide receiver. I need a running back.
Yeah, that'll happen. If Barkley gets hurt, I'm definitely offering up any wide receiver for a running back.
I can see you saying, okay, guys, Chase is off limits.
No, if Barkley gets hurt, I'm offering Zach Chase for ETN, like flat out right away. Like that's going to be my first call. I can already tell you that. If Barkley gets hurt, I'm offering Chase to Zach for ETN.
Which that could help Zach's wide receivers big time, but it would kill his running backs because, again, and your thought, Akers ain't going to be very good. So that would really hurt Zach's team.
Yeah, well, that's going to be a decision Zach would have to make if the time comes. I'm hoping it doesn't come. because I think my first 7 picks, honestly, are stellar, given where I got the guys and what my
All of
ceiling
your
is
wide
gonna be.
receivers are awesome. I like them all.
I only have 2 wide. I mean, Nico Collins and Mike Williams are the only ones that may not be wide receiver 1s, but they have wide receiver 1 potential. Otherwise, you got Chase, AJ Brown, Cortland Sutton, St. Brown, and Lazard are all guaranteed number 1s on their team, right? So, wide receivers are stacked. Chase Edmonds can be a crapshoot, but when given touches, he has shown he can kill it, both in real life and fantasy. And by all accounts, Miami's going to give him that opportunity. So unless he gets hurt, I feel really good about Edmonds.
I think Edmonds is still a running back 3, but
I think Stevenson becomes the RB1 for the Pats.
Hopefully.
And he's going to be the pass catching back by all accounts as well. So I think he's got a high floor.
That old line is so bad. That old line is so bad.
It was bad last year. I'm not worried about
last year they still had Scarnecchia. They still had McDaniels running the offense.
The only difference is McDaniels was running the offense last year. That's the only difference.
They're not looking good. Like, I've listened to Rich Eisen.
Patriots are going to be trash. I just think Stevenson's going to be the best offensive weapon. So
I just don't know if that's going to be very good.
We'll see. He's going to get the touches. I know.
When you do that running back where you don't, I mean, you took Barkley early, but other than that, you didn't. You're taking gambles, and they have to pay off.
I think Stevenson and Edmonds are going to get the touches. So if they don't get hurt, they're going to be fine. I'm not expecting huge points out of them. I'm just expecting, 12. And if I can get 12 from them with my wide receivers, I'm golden. Komet's going to kill it. I think he's the tight end sleeper of the year. I think he can finish top 5.
Not happening.
So I think, absolutely. Absolutely.
Not happening.
Why not? Why not?
That offense is not going to be good enough to get him in the top 5, bro.
Why not?
Because they're not going to be that good.
Pinky, you are underestimating Justin Fields.
I am not. That whole team is going to be bad.
No.
Bad teams don't generally generate top 5 fantasy players. That is almost a fact.
Watch. Outskirts, he's going to be right around top 5 tight ends this year.
But he won't be top 5, so that's fine.
What are you going to say if he's 6 or 7?
I still don't think he's not going to even hit top 10.
Oh, you're foolish, my friend. Foolish. You watch. He's going to be right there. I'm stoked where I got him. Cousins, I think, is a steal that late, personally.
Sure. That's actually a great pick.
Irv Smith has potential for top 10 tight ends. A lot of targets to be had. He's got to stay healthy, though. So kind of took a flyer on him. I thought he was going to break out last year, and then he got hurt. He got nicked up in preseason and training camp already. So I just took a flyer on pure potential there. Ronald Jones was a darling, sneaky draft of mine early on. He has definitely fallen off the cliff. I draft him just out of sheer, there's not a lot else on the board, and I need another running back at some point. So hope that he can come through somehow and surprise me. I think Daniel Jones has a sneaky good year, so I snagged him late just in case Cousins gets hurt. And then with the last pick, Nico Collins, I think he's going to actually kind of ball out this year. So the fact that he was still sitting there, I was kind of surprised.
Should be fine. Again, how many fantasy points will he get in a crappy offense? Who knows? Crappy team, crappy offense. We'll see. But he's trending up.
So see what happens. We'll see what happens. I got a little more faith in the running backs than anybody else does, at least those first 3. Like I said, Edmonds and Stevenson I took based on high floors.
You got a lot of risk there, my man. You got a lot of risk.
I don't think there's that much risk. I really don't. I just don't think there's huge potential like some other players, but I think the risk is minimal.
We'll see. I think you'll be calling someone for a running back quicker than quicker than you think.
Nope. Only reason I'm calling somebody for a running back is if Barkley goes down. That's truly how I feel. Not worried about it. Let's move on to the defending champ.
His team's pretty solid.
Is it?
It is. I don't think it's like world beater, but I think it's solid.
I mean, is Jacobs even going to be the RB1 there?
For maybe a little bit. I still wouldn't get shocked if he got traded.
Nope, me neither. Damian Harris that early, I think I don't see him being worth that
Again, he had, I don't know if it was last year or the year before, he had 15 touchdowns. So, I mean.
Last year.
Yeah. Typically, I don't want any part of a New England running game.
Well, it's only Harris and Stevenson, so it's not a bad pick to make. I just think it was made too early.
I mean, thankfully, everybody else is gone. Rex Burkhead, White retired. So, yeah, it's Harris and Stevenson, straight ahead running. But, yeah, I'm not a huge fan of it. Diggs is good, but unfortunately, even last year, man, Allen was looking in other spots down the field.
I mean, he still had, 1,200 yards and 8 touchdowns.
It was such a quiet one. I have him in another league, and he did not have those big games that he had in the previous year. Previous year, he was like 14 and like 12, and there were a couple games where you just got monster performances. Just didn't get that from him last year.
For his sake, he better hopes people were wrong about Gabe Davis going off this year. That's what I'll say about that.
I think Gabe Davis is going off regardless.
Well, I'm just saying if Gabe Davis really goes off, then Stefan Diggs is going to take a hit to his numbers. That's just the way it is.
Would be a tough blow for a guy who drafted him in the second round.
Yes.
I mean, I would have drafted Debo, CD, or Tyreek over Diggs.
I agree. Keenan Allen is a solid pick.
Perfect.
If he stays on the field and he's healthy, he's a PPR machine. You're talking 1,200 yards, 6 to 8 touchdowns, and 100 catches, So don't hate Allen there. Judy could finally break out, so that's a boom bust kind of pick.
Judy's that pick. You're like, I'm banking on this guy really having a big season.
Yep.
And he
bit of a wild card.
He really could, but yeah, you just don't know.
I like Goddard a lot. I think he's going to have a big year. I've already said I think Aaron Rodgers goes for a 3-peat, so I like Aaron Rodgers. Robert Woods is a bit of a question mark coming back from the ACL injury.
I like Woods. Woods is a possession guy. He'll help Tannehill move the chains.
I just don't know if he helps enough early on. That's kind of the kicker. But when it's your wide receiver 4, as long as the other guys play out, you're okay there. Naheem Hines, solid, not great.
He didn't get a lot of run last year, but maybe he gets more with Matt Ryan throwing the ball.
Matt Ryan's been known to dump it down, so if he gets enough play time, he'll get enough touches, I think. Chase Claypool is boom bust. Could be really good, could be really bad.
He has all the talent in the world.
I think Justin Fields as your QB2 is solid. I have no issues there. Devante Parker, I think, is a bust. Always has been. I don't like him at all. That late in the draft, I guess it's worth the crapshoot, though.
I mean, there's not much in New England. I wouldn't draft a New England wide receiver. But if you had to, I guess that's him.
Noah Fant is a wide receiver, too. He's gotten some looks. He could be somewhat productive, especially if Geno has to dump down a lot. And then Sammy Watkins, if he stays healthy for a whole season, he'll be great with Aaron Rodgers. But you are asking a lot of Sammy to stay healthy.
I mean, for 3 games, he's going to be awesome. Other than that, I don't really have any faith in him.
So yeah, that's yeah.
So yeah, I still think he's in a. I mean, if Judy balls out, Jacob balls out, if they give him enough playing time, then his team could be pretty dangerous. But
I personally think my team's right there with Sam's. I think Etch is a step below. Not far off, but a step below. And mostly because my wide receivers are so strong, I can play, like you said, 4 of them.
your wide receivers are going to carry your team. Are you getting anything out of your other guys?
Like I said, you get 10 to 12 out of Edmonds or Stevenson, whichever one I play at the second running back, I'm good. You know what I mean? Which I think is their floor. So, but you're right. There is some risk there. If either one of them goes down, I'm real screwed. If Barkley goes down, I'm done. I think Etch has a lot of question marks. Jacobs as your running back 2, Harris as your running back 3. I think that's more question marks than my Edmonds and Stevenson, or just as much.
I would say maybe just as much. I mean, Jacobs can still be a consistent guy if they give him the ball, but I don't know how much Daniels really wants to give him the ball.
When they're openly trying to trade you and you're playing all of preseason game 1, it's not a good look. That's the kicker. And they drafted Zamir White, which you snagged and we'll talk about here in a moment, but anybody
calls Vegas and wants to give them a second to third rounder for Jacobs, he'll be gone.
Oh, dude, if they offer a third, he'll be gone. I'd be amazed if anybody offered a second. But I think if somebody offered a third, Jacobs is gone in a heartbeat.
All
right, let's look at you, Pinky. Let's look and see what you did here.
That's on you. You can comment, and I'll answer any questions that you have.
Look, I love your first 5 picks. I think you reached incredibly on Dobbins, but I think it's worth the reach. I was just surprised to see you do it. Swift and Javonte are solid. I think Dobbins will start a little bit slow, but he'll be great as the season progresses. Waddle's a PPR machine, and I think he'll continue that. Allen Robinson, I think, will blow up with Matthew Stafford. I think it's actually the reason I don't think Kupp ends up as a top 5 receiver this year. I think Kupp will have a great year. I just don't think he'll be top 5 because Allen will take too many touches from him. Damian Pierce, you got some great news today that Marlon Mack got cut.
It helped. It definitely helped.
I still don't like Damian Pierce. Just from what I saw in college and what he is already. Like you said on that offense, I don't think he's going to get the true need touches to produce, but I could be wrong. He had a good preseason.
A starter running back over any of the other guys behind him.
He had a good preseason. I will agree with you there. Russell Wilson, we both think will ball out this year. Hunter Renfrow, I think, is a steal there. He's going to be a PPR nightmare with Carr this year because nobody's ever going to be able to blanket coverage him at all.
What does McDaniels like to run?
Oh yeah, he's the new Edelman. He's the new Wes Welker. He's going to kill it. I think you got a steal there with Renfrow.
What is Renfrow good at? Option routes.
I think Dawson Knox was a wasted pick personally. He is huge boomer bust. He is touchdown dependent, and I don't think he gets the red zone touches this year that he needs. Christian Kirk, I think, is another steal for you right there. That's a wide receiver 1 on a team that's going to be throwing the ball. I think you got a steal there. Matt Ryan as the second quarterback. Love it. Tyrion Davis-Price, that's a stash pick when Elijah Mitchell goes down, so don't hate that at all. I think Tanyan, if he can come back healthy, you got a steal there, and he's probably going to be your tight end 1. Zamir White, great stash because I think he's probably going to be the starting running back by the end of the season. So I think that's a great stash. And then Josh Palmer's a flyer who can put up some serious numbers.
I mean, Keenan Allen or Michael Williams go down. I think Palmer can step in, and Herbert likes to throw it deep to him. So I think there's some opportunity, which when getting into the late rounds, I'm looking
last
for guys
pick of the draft kind of thing. I love it. It's a good stash. So I think your team's right there with personally mine and Sam's as far as talent and potential. You don't have as many holes as Sam and I have, which is why I might actually put you above both of us, which I really hate saying.
Well, I think we're all constructed a little bit differently. Obviously, you're needing top performances from your wide receivers and just a little bit of performance from your running backs. Sam. I mean, I still think Sam for his top guys. I just feel like he's got the best value overall myself, and that might be because I'm pretty high on Hurts, fantasy wise.
Oh yeah.
I think he's going to have a really good year, and he knows it. That's why he drafted him there.
I think Sam having Moore and Cooks as his top 2 wide receivers, though, is where his downfall is.
So those guys have good floors, but they don't have high ceilings. They're not usually going to have those gigantic weeks that like push you over the top, but they should get 15 to 20.
But I like what you did. I do. I like what you did. Pains me to say it.
Again, I took some risk with Dobbins, but that's a run-heavy offense. I don't think they have a lot at the wide receivers.
Well, with you having the 2 starting right above him, that's not bad.
And I've got the 2 ahead of him. I can play 3 wide. I'm actually probably playing 3 or 4 wide week 1 because I got Waddle, and Waddle actually is somewhat questionable so far for week 1, so we'll see. But I felt pretty good about it. We'll see how it plays out. I really need Dobbins to come back healthy, and then I feel like my squad is definitely one of the top teams.
Yep, you're upper tier for sure. And finally, with your wife, Hannah, closing us out here. First pick, Devante Adams. Don't hate it. Second pick, Travis Kelce. Don't hate it, especially because that's going to be number 1 option in Kansas City this year. I think Zeke has a bounce back year, so I don't hate the Zeke pick.
Hopefully. I mean, I think he still had a decent year last year, just not.
I mean, here's what blows my mind. Last year, he still had 1,000 yards and 10 touchdowns on a bum knee in a bad situation.
From fantasy perspectives, though, he was consistent. He just never gave you any of those like big weeks.
True. I'll agree with that. But if he can be consistent, you're okay. And I think he has an even better year this year. So I don't hate having Zeke. Justin Herbert could very easily end up as the number 1 quarterback. So that's not bad. Marquise Brown should have a nice year, especially reconnecting with his college teammate, Kyler Murray.
I like Hollywood. I do think, like, at least in her top 4 picks, she has a guy who could be number 1 wide receiver, a tight end that could be number 1, and a quarterback that could be number 1.
Yep.
So
now this is where it starts getting questionable at best. Kareem Hunt, that's a boomer bust pick. And Chubb is definitely the main guy there.
If Watson was starting, Hunt's a pretty good play. But
I mean, if Watson's playing the whole season, Hunt at that level, great pick. Honestly, I would say that. Not playing for the first 11 weeks, he is questionable at that level.
They're going to be running the ball or throwing the ball quite a bit because I think they're going to be behind.
He gets less touches than Chubb, and Chubb barely gets the touches needed. So it's as your running back 2, it gets scary.
It's risky.
Scary. Yeah. Cordero Patterson, he's not going to repeat last year. I love his talent, but like I said, I think Algier ends up becoming the RB1 there. Patterson goes back to Swiss Army knife kind of status, and it's not going to produce the way it needs to.
His fantasy was mainly touchdown dependent last year.
Yeah, and Algier's the red zone guy this year by all accounts. So that is a big hit to Patterson. I actually like Bateman, especially here. I think he can have a really big year. And based on what I've read coming out of Ravens camp, they like him a lot. And Lamar Jackson likes him a lot. So there in that level, I could see him being a nice wide receiver 3 for her. I don't even know what to think about Madison. He really only has value if Cook gets hurt right now, but they're openly trying to trade him apparently. So if they do trade him, depending on where he goes, he could then skyrocket in value, or he could completely be worthless. So that's a tough one to call there. Albert O as a backup as a second tight end, that's a huge boom or bust. We really don't know, and there's not great things coming out of Broncos camp about Albert O, but
he can't block, so they don't like having him in on play action.
Which doesn't make any sense to me, but okay.
So he got some good news. Greg Dulcich is on IR for the first 4 weeks. So at least for the first 4 weeks, Albert O is going to get some run.
Yeah. So that's good.
But she won't be playing him because she has Kelsey. So
right. Well, but if he plays well, you play him in your flex, which is definitely possible given what we're looking at.
The rest of this roster, right?
Positions. Yeah. She got a huge kick in the nuts today with Marlon Mack being released. And if he gets picked up anywhere, he's not going to have RB1 touches, maybe not even RB2 touches. He could just be a depth play. So that was a tough blow. I do like these next 2 picks. They are kind of boom bust, but Garrett Wilson could have a sneaky good year as a rookie for the Jets, and Rondale Moore could have a sneaky good year with Hopkins being out the first 6 weeks. They've been talking about how they want to get Rondale Moore more touches, so he could be a sneaky late-round steal. Trevor Lawrence, I think, is a solid backup quarterback for her. And then Kenyon Drake just got signed today by Baltimore, or he will get signed. I guess he passed his physical. They haven't quite put ink to paper yet, but by all accounts, he'll be with Baltimore. He's only getting touches if guys get hurt. So she's praying Dobbins fails you miserably.
Which, again, when you're taking running backs in the back 12 round, past round 12, that's pretty much what you're looking for, is for the starter to get hurt.
Yeah. So, unfortunately, Hannah's going to need some miracles, I feel like, for things to go her way. I see a path there. I see a path for her to be relevant. Just, on paper, start the season, it's not looking great. Hannah, I apologize. I'm just saying how it is. Just saying how it is.
It's going to be amazing. All those boomer busts are all going to boom. It's all going to be amazing.
Hey, you know what? If that happens, all mine are probably going to fall on their face and get hurt. So it is what it is.
I'm projected to win 1 game right now.
All right.
It's going to be amazing. I just need 1. I just need
We're
one.
We're going to need to teach. I'm going to have to teach her a little bit more roster construction on a fantasy team.
Taking Kelsey round 2 kind of puts you in a hole. I like Kelsey. He's going to blow up. He's going to have a great year. Just taking him there in Devante Adams 1 puts you in a hole to start when running backs are thin and wide receivers are deep. So
it's going to be
what it is. It is what it is.
It's going to be amazing.
Hope springs eternal when we're all 0-0.
That's true.
It's going to be amazing.
That is very true.
And then the wheels can fall off real quick.
Even when they do draft good, the wheels fall off. So it is what it is.
That's also true. It's also true. We got an odd comment here from Optimistically Cynical. Not quite sure where he was trying to go with that. So he sucks at fantasy football because his fantasy players all have pure Aryan blood. That's an interesting racist comment, it sounds like. So not quite sure where he was trying to go with that or run with that. By all means, explain yourself if you want to, but I'm a little confused if you were talking about Bruce Arians or you're really going racist Aryan there.
Let's be honest. You're not going to build a great fantasy team if you draft a lot of white running backs. That's just a fact. It's not racist. There's only one that you can.
Other than CMC, who are we talking about here?
Kyle Juszczyk, I guess, would be technically a running back you could draft.
He's a fullback at best, and yeah, I'm not sure what we're going there. Optimistically Cynical. That's we probably shouldn't have even brought up your comment. I probably should have just not even said anything.
It's worth a glance. It's funny-ish. He did say I suck, so he's talking about himself. He sucks at fantasy. Self-degrading.
I guess. I'm just not feeling the pure Aryan blood comment, I think. It's implying also that CMC is racist. So I'm not really liking it. Not really liking it. But that's the rundown. That's the rundown. I've kind of said who I think's at top. Pinky, who are you feeling are the top dogs here?
I mean, I like Sam's team overall. Sam's won quite a few championships. Eckler and Kamara. If Kamara's balling and Eckler's balling, Andrews, his top 2 wide receivers are solid. They're not gonna go crazy, but his team's just solid, man. Your team, again, you need the value from the running backs, but if you get it, your wide receivers can carry you. Plus, you got Cousins, who I think is going to have a pretty darn good season. I mean, Blue's banking on Montgomery and CEH. I don't really know much. I don't know about those 2 guys, but I think his team's at least going to be competitive. And I do like Aaron's team a lot. I really do.
SP's solid.
Zach's team's solid too.
I think the Juju's a little questionable and the Gibson's a little questionable there. So that's where he could have some issues, but he is solid.
I mean,
and
Zach
could be sneaky good. I think he's very top heavy, and Elijah Moore being his wide receiver 2 is what's scary.
He's hoping Michael Thomas pops off.
That's not going to happen. There's just no way that happens.
I think overall my wife's going to be Sacco, I think.
Oof, that's going to make for a long year in the Pinky household.
No, nobody's worse about losing than my wife. And again, she won 3 straight games to start last year, and then she only won like 1 or 2 more games the rest of the year. Wow. It was a brutal. Now, thankfully, she'd get pissed off for about the first, maybe till about noon, and then she'd just be over it because she'd just be, oh, I'm going to lose, so I'm done. But it was pretty painful. Again, if Herbert, Adams, and Kelsey balls out, maybe that can carry her, but that's tough.
She would need Herbert, Adams, Kelsey, and Zeke to ball out.
And get some run from her other guys, which could happen, but a lot of question marks.
A lot of question marks, unfortunately. There's a couple teams that have some question marks. I don't think there's,
to me, in the past, there's been like one team that's just like you look and you're like, wow, that team's just way above everybody. I don't think we have that this year. I think it's pretty spread. Like last year, like, Sonny's team, 0-4, made the playoffs. And I looked over a roster, I was like, you've got a good squad. They just nobody performed in the first 4 weeks.
Well, I'm hoping this is finally my year because I've had two years in a row where I've been basically the top dog, or right at that level.
You've been close.
2 years ago, I was like 10-1.
3 years ago against Sam, you had literally one of the best squads I've seen.
I wasn't even talking about that one. That one I started like 12-0 before I lost a game, something ridiculous. Lost in the first round of the playoff to Sam. And I knew it was coming. Matchups and everything else, I knew it was coming. 2 years ago, I was like 10-1 to start the season, and then last year I was like 9-2, somewhere in there. So
I mean, I've been to the finals. I was in the finals back to back, and then last year I was third place last year.
Yeah. So, and I think I was in the finals one of those years, and the semis the other year. Now I was in the finals last year. I know that because I lost to Etch.
It was last year because before that you got knocked out by Sam. I played in the finals the 2 years after that year because I played against Sam and I played against Duran. Or I played against Sam the year he beat you.
I think I might have lost to you in the – no, because you haven't won your league. So
I have not won my own league. It's painful. It hurts. I'm over it though. I'm over it.
Yeah. So, but I've been there, not quite been able to get over the edge. I'm hoping being forced to do a completely new strategy that I've never been a fan of puts me over the edge somehow. We'll see.
Hopefully the stars shine on you, my man, because you need it.
I do.
Not again, if they do though, going to be damn good because those wide receivers are fire, man. All of them.
Yeah,
They're
we'll
all
see
good.
what happens. Hannah, good luck with your husband tonight. The words didn't come out of my mouth; they came out of his. I just want to make that very clear.
Thankfully, she left. We're good. We're good.
She's commenting though.
Oh, is she commenting?
Oh yeah, she commented, buddy. She commented. She left the room to comment. It looks like. So good luck with that, buddy. On that note, Pinky was kind. If you read between the lines, you can definitely understand where he wanted to be really mean, but just wasn't because he's friends with all of these people. Yeah, Pinky's probably sleeping on the couch a little bit this year.
Never. I can tell you that. I never sleep on the couch. If she doesn't want to be there, she can leave.
There you go. There you go. Smart man. On that note, any final thoughts, buddy?
No, man. I'm looking forward to next week. We'll roll out our schedule, our predictions for all the teams.
Yeah, buddy. That's gonna be a fun.
Maybe even grace some folks with a couple betting ideas that we have, and it's gonna be good, man. I'm ready.
All right. Well, everybody, as always, go spend that time with your loved ones, family, friends. Cherish it. Hold on to it. We will never fault anyone for saying they got plans that involve the people they love and care most about. On that note, we are out, and we will talk to you people later. Peace.
Tagging everyone.